Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how are my snipers doing today? I hope you guys are doing fantastic. Listen, today we are going to be talking about Kaspa. Listen, there is a lot of news. I lied. There's only one piece of news, but it is extremely big. And this can be a big catalyst for pretty much Kaspa getting listed on Coinbase soon. If you don't know what I'm talking about, right, this has popped up, right? From Coinbase traders, right? Coinbase Advance is adding support for Kaspa and SPX for future trading. Yes, you heard that right, ladies and gentlemen. Kaspa now will be getting added as a future on Coinbase. So you could be, taking certain types of trades and etc. What does this mean? Well, for one, ladies and gentlemen, most coins, and I mean a very large percentage, 95% plus, when they get listed as a future, there's a very high probability over the next few short months that they will also get listed as a spot listing. Okay. So, spot listing is the main big thing that we want to see when it comes to your coin getting listed. However, this is always a great stepping stone, right? This is always a great stepping stone. We seen a couple months ago that Binance, there was some kind of mining pool with Caspa, and also historically there on a very high probability chance, there's a great chance that Caspa will be listed on Binance as a spot listing sooner than later. And the same thing applies for this. So this is very big news. This is what we love to see as Caspa holders. If you guys don't know, I bought a lot of Caspa roughly at 7.5 to 8.5 cents as my average, right? That was my big purchase, right? We talked about this candle over here. And then in the moment, I saw how everything dumped. So I also got in somewhere a little bit lower than the green bar. We will discuss price action very soon. But something I also want to talk about is listen, ladies and gentlemen, right? Look, when we go on here, right, we can see Caspa is roughly at 2.7 billion market cap, has 110 million in volume in the last 24 hours. And we can see that when we go to the exchange listings, right? We're not on Coinbase, we're not on Binance, and there's a couple more that we have to get listed on, okay? But here is the deal, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to compare this to one other coin, which is also extremely fundamentally great, and that is Ondo. And when we look at Ondo, ladies and gentlemen, right, we can see Ondo backed by BlackRock, backed by JP Morgan, right? They're working with the Trump administration and all these other things. And we can see there are 20 billion market cap, 300 plus million volume. You probably are wondering, well, why am I telling you this? Well, ladies and gentlemen, we can see they're not on Binance yet either, right? There's also a few more exchanges they have to get listed on too, right? They have most of the small, medium to kind of bigger ones, but they're also not listed on Binance yet, right? And we know Ondo, well, if you don't know, I'll tell you, Ondo is going to be one of the top coins, right? It falls on the same category as Caspa in terms of how elite the actual token is, right? It's a very fantastic coin, just like Caspa, right? But look, they're not listed. Caspa's not listed. So I wouldn't worry just yet, right? Because this is not a Caspa issue. Yes, they do fall into minority of, being a big project of not being listed on some of these bigger exchanges, but that's okay. I believe everything will turn around very soon. And the fact that there has been, delays in terms of people's predictions of when we can moon is a very good thing in terms of Caspa's price, right? The fact that we probably will have our first pump a little bit later, a couple months later than expected, means that the updates that we get from Caspa are going to be very important, right? And we have an extra couple of months, right? Which may be just enough time to get a Coinbase and potentially Binance spot listing. And that will really dictate the price between, let's say, potentially $1.20, $1.50, $2, $2.50, right? We will obviously have to see what happens over the next coming months, but this is very fantastic news. I am personally still very big on Caspa. I personally really like the coin. I know some people are skeptical about it. Some people are saying, well, I'm not happy with the price action. I understand, right? I understand if you even would have bought roughly around the same price I bought, but let's say a couple months ago, your maximum gain potential could have been maybe like 2.25 times at one point, right? But you've probably seen other coins go up like 5x, 7x, 10x, some coins went 20x, we've had insane pumps. So I understand the frustration, but I promise you, right? Obviously not a financial advisor and I don't control the markets, but based off what I see, technical analysis, and what I've seen in the past with other coins, this is all accumulation. Okay. Accumulation is just pretty much imagine you pulling back your arm, holding a ball, and the further you pull back, the more further you're going to throw it, right? That's what accumulation is, okay? Or imagine a catapult, right? The more you pull back the catapult, the further the rock will go. And we have been pretty much accumulating over a year now. We could start counting, the beginning of November of 2023. And, we are, in mid February already. So over a year, we've pretty much been going sideways. And I do expect a very, very big bang over the next couple of months, right? We probably will explode super, super hard the first time. Then we probably will, as most coins do, cool off a little bit and then have another rally, right? I'm not saying we're going to explode to only 35 cents and then go up from here, but I'm just showing you how this is going to most likely work out. When we go in terms of the micro moves, ladies and gentlemen, I do not believe, generally speaking, we'll go lower than seven, pretty much 7.5 cents, a little bit lower than that when we look at everything, right, we can see Caspa compared to the other price action has been already kind of starting to go sideways. We did have moments where we were going sideways here, but of course, the context of the market was that we expected the 92K crash. So we had this and then we crashed, right? And here we have swept the weekly liquidity, last relevant weekly liquidity. And at the moment, it really just does seem to me that overall we are building some type of structure and that we are overall starting to range between roughly, let's just say, you know, a little bit lower than 8.5 cents, roughly up to 11 cents, right? And we can see we are below this zone over here, right? This was once support, turned into resistance. But I generally do believe that, we may get a little bit of a pullback, right? Whatever it is, but we are going to be accumulating to go further up. And once we go further up, for me, we're probably never going to touch this price again until maybe the bear season. Okay. But other than that, Caspa is looking very clean. Right now is a good time to buy. You could get a pullback roughly of maybe 9 to 8.5 cents. We'll see how Bitcoin reacts. Bitcoin could potentially go to $92,500. If we see Bitcoin drop, like 3-4%, we could probably see Caspa drop a little bit more. Also depends how Bitcoin dominance will, play out. At the moment, Bitcoin dominance is just continuing to go lower and lower. So some of the altcoins in general are looking good. I know right now we are currently bleeding, but that's because Bitcoin did drop $2,000. But we can see, right? Bitcoin dropped, almost 2.5%, but altcoins, they're not dropping as much. Yeah, sure, some of them are dropping a little more, like Turbo, but Turbo is a meme coin. It's a double-edged sword in terms of how much it's going to drop and pump. But we can see, right? Bitcoin went down 2.5%. Altcoins only went down 4%. Usually, it's a much bigger drop, at least double to 2.5 times the amount. So we can see, right? If Bitcoin does go to, and drop down another $3,000, then Caspa could very well potentially go back to roughly the 9 cent area. And that's, this general area is where I would highly recommend buying it, in my personal opinion, right? Just even looking at it from a bigger picture, right? You are buying much lower than, anywhere where people bought up here. So that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Very big news. Very excited for Caspa. And yeah, the future is bright with this coin. Love you guys so much, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Goodbye.